Yesterday, the United States minted its last ever penny, and I have to admit, it got me in more ways than one. Now, I know, it costs nearly 4 cents to make. On paper, it's a waste of funds to keep producing them. But it wasn't always this way. Nearly 100 years ago, when the Lincoln penny was introduced, it could buy you a candle, a biscuit, a postcard. This is back when a dozen eggs cost 14 cents, a gallon of milk was a quarter. A penny had value, but something changed. Growing up, I collected common coins. My dad would come home, empty out his pockets, and let me sift through the change, looking for those elusive feather pennies, special dates, or the shiniest pennies, because I also have a love for flattened penny machines. I have a vivid memory of going to the grocery store with my mom. While she would check out, I would scour the floor, going register to register, hoping a penny had fallen and been forgotten. I'm not sure she loved how dirty this was, but she always loved my enthusiasm, singing to me, "Find a penny, pick it up, all day long, you'll have good luck," which, to this day, I still do. I never skip a penny, heads or tails, they're all lucky to me. But somewhere along the way, people of all incomes and ages stopped picking up pennies. In fact, people would rather throw away the pennies they'd find rather than try and spend them because they just weren't worth anything. Had the cost of living really gotten that bad that it wasn't worth pausing to grab a free coin off the sidewalk or to try and spend legal currency you found in your pocket? The answer for many is yes. And that's what really hit me hard about this news. It's not just the loss of the coin, although I obviously have sentimental value attached to it. It's a stark reminder of just how far our currency has fallen. People often say that inflation is rising prices, but inflation is really the decline of your purchasing power, reflected in rising prices. That candle, that biscuit, that postcard that you could buy for a cent 100 years ago, those items haven't changed. All that's changed is the currency. Since the Federal Reserve's creation in 1913, the dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power, meaning that $100 back then only is worth a mere $3 today. And as more dollars are created, you cannot create more units of currency without devaluing the existing units of currency. But the scary part for me is what the retirement of the penny represents: an acceleration in the devaluation of our currency. It's not that the penny sticking around could stop it, but it shows us that they're not even trying to hide what's happening anymore. If you want my 2 cents, I think the penny's been kept in production long after it costs more to produce it, because getting rid of it is a silent admission of what we've lost, of just how little our currency is worth. It's almost as if they're coming out and waving the flag, letting us know that the printing press is being warmed up, that the spending is going to increase, that we might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and start rounding up to the nearest 5, which, by the way, if you haven't thought about yet, stores are already coming out and confirming that they're going to be rounding up, not down. So even if something is $10.01, be prepared for that to be $10.05. So we have that to look forward to, especially because, as we all know, every penny counts. Other concerns I've seen that I share are that removing the penny is the first step towards a fully cashless society, that this is just one big push to get people closer to adopting a future central bank digital currency, stable coins, or some kind of other digital programmable currency where there are no other options left. And it makes sense when you think about it. If the argument to get rid of the penny is that it costs more to produce it than it's worth, what's next? The nickel, which today costs 14 cents to produce 1 nickel. How long until the quarter's gone? The dollar, at what point does the currency itself become more expensive to print than it's actually worth? It might sound silly, but it's not a rhetorical question. You can ask the people of Weimar, Venezuela, Argentina, Zimbabwe. When inflation turns into hyperinflation, or a rapid rise of prices, eventually that's going to give way to an official reset, right? A reset is a process, one that we're in right now, but it is marked at the end often by an official currency devaluation, because prices have gotten so out of control, there are no other options left. And in those circumstances, each and every single time, it is the savers within the system, the holders of the fiat currency, who are left with nothing. Which is, of course, why I'm sitting here, why I do the work I do, why I talk about physical gold and silver. Because throughout all resets in history, including the one we're living through now, it is gold and silver that will truly protect your wealth, while fiat currency eventually will return to its intrinsic value, which is zero. But to that point, I read an article this morning that said goodbye and good riddance to the penny, calling it irrelevant. And to that, I wholeheartedly disagree. In fact, to me, the penny has never been more relevant. It serves as a bridge of what was and what is. It represents what we've lost. And while it is never wise to dwell on the past or reminisce about a time when, it is important to make sure that we remember history, because if you don't, then you are doomed to repeat it. Growing up down the street from where I lived, there was a well, and I'd always have my mom stop so I could run out of the car, close my eyes tight, and make my wish. Now, I'm normally not a big believer in sharing your wishes because then, of course, they won't come true. But today I'm going to make an exception. My first wish for everyone out there watching is your health and your happiness, because if you don't have that, you don't have anything. But my second wish, if you give me a second penny, is that everyone out there watching has taken action to protect themselves from what is coming next. I don't say that to scare you. I don't say that to sell you anything. I say that to you as someone who studies everything that's going on today, who knows what's coming next from history, and who wants to try and help more people be prepared so that you can sleep well at night knowing you're protected. Because to me, that peace of mind is worth every penny. Today, I want to close in gratitude because I am truly grateful for this job, this opportunity, and this platform to help educate people and share more of what's going on in the world. I appreciate you listening today. I know this was a slight departure from what I usually talk about, but if you want to learn more about the dollar's collapse, about how gold is being positioned at the center of the new monetary system, I will be doing a live and completely free, because I want everyone to have this information, deep dive webinar. It will be next Tuesday, November 18th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. If you have not already saved your seat, be sure to register. You can scan the QR code. You can click the link in the description. Again, it is completely free. It is live. I will be doing a live Q&A, and we will be getting into a ton of topics, the big moves that are happening right now, the timeline, and of course, how you can protect yourself. I really, really hope to see you there. And if you enjoyed my 2 cents, sorry, I had to sneak one more in there, please go ahead and share this with your loved ones, your family, your friends, any other penny lovers out there. I know I'm not the only one. And as always, thank you so much for being here. I'm Taylor Kenney with ITM Trading, your trusted source for all things gold, silver, and lifelong protection. Until next time,